So now the question is, 5,784 years later, how are we doing? How are we doing? Have we gotten anywhere at all? So a couple of weeks ago, human beings demonstrated very convincingly that we are as barbaric as we were at the beginning of creation. You know, when we read the stories, like, how wicked were the people of Sodom? Oh, they were terrible. They wouldn't have guests. If somebody had a guest and offered them food, they would be killed. No, not just killed. Tortured. Tortured. If they were short, they would stretch them. If they were too tall, they would cut them down. And you know, when we heard the stories, we were not horrified because we didn't believe it. That's funny. Stretch a guy and make him taller. That's a joke, right?
Just a midrash.
Huh?
Just a midrash.
Yeah. It's yeah, they were very bad, okay, but I have to get into that gory details. Pharaoh decided to kill babies and bathe in the blood. Oh, come on. You know how many kids you have to kill for that? And then, if they didn't make enough bricks for the walls, they would cement the babies into the... Nobody does that. It wouldn't make a very stable wall, by the way. So we never took it seriously because we're ridiculous. We're ridiculous. So 3 weeks ago we were told Torah does not exaggerate. No, that's exactly what they did. And they're still doing it. Who's they? Human beings. This comedian says, you know, I've come to the conclusion that human beings just don't make good people. It's pretty shocking. It's not just a handful of terrorists in the Middle East. It's every campus in the United States. The head of the Department of Justice. We're not talking about silly freshmen at college. The head of the Department of Justice was being questioned by the Senate. You saw it?
Yeah, I saw it.
He says somebody on your staff tweeted or sent a message saying that she supports Hamas. Have you fired her? I'm not at liberty to talk about what, you know. Did you fire her? Blah, 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 blah. Even I wouldn't answer the question. And the guy said, she is in favor of torturing babies, killing babies. Did you fire her? He wouldn't answer. That's pretty serious, huh? So the question is, have we gotten anywhere at all? Are human beings more decent now? More godly? there's a serious realization that we have to come away with, and that is morality needs to be taught. You can't expect kids to grow up moral without instruction, without encouragement, without direction. We always believed moral teachings, moral convictions come from religion and from education. Those who were not religious didn't want to use religion. They believed that education would make better people. If you go to college, to higher learning, you become a more decent human being. If you read Shakespeare, if you listen to classical music, if you are knowledgeable about nature and science, you become a better person. Germany was a very sophisticated society in the 30s. They had philosophers, they had musicians, they were very educated. And there was not a shred of morality, nothing. No conscience even. Why did you do these horrible, no following orders? Not even a regret. Pretty scary. We didn't learn a lesson. We thought they were an exception. Oh, Nazis, yeah, well, they're subhuman. No, they're typical. Now we have the same behavior by people who are educated and are also religious. They call out in the name of God as they do what they did. That's pretty shocking. If religion is not producing morality and education is not producing morality, what's left? It's a serious question.
Couldn't the answer be failure? Like bad decisions?
Yeah. Failure will wake us up to the fact that we're not getting moral teachings. But then where are we going to get it from? Yeah, it is an awakening. We no longer even expect religion to teach morality.
Religion and education can be taken in the direction whichever one wants it to go.
I think the philosophy was there is no absolute morality. As you become more educated, you become a better person. Right? This guy says, I don't need God to tell me right from wrong. I know right from wrong. I said, for example, what do you think is wrong? He says, murder. I said, did you come up with that yourself? Was that you thought that up yourself? Or you heard it somewhere? We have never come up with a moral concept that isn't in the Torah. And all the moral principles that are modern and secular, they're so immoral that it's scary. There is no moral wisdom. The Gemara says there's wisdom among the nations. It doesn't say moral wisdom.